Imagine a weapon that can strike a target hundreds of miles away with pinpoint accuracy. Now add enough explosive power to level entire city blocks. These aren't science fiction props or Cold War relics gathering dust in museums. These are real missiles that have been fired in actual combat, and the destruction they've caused is absolutely staggering. We're counting down the 10 deadliest missiles ever used in warfare. And by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why modern militaries spend billions trying to defend against them. Stay with me because some of these stats are going to blow your mind. The Hellfire missile doesn't look particularly intimidating at first glance. It's only about 5 feet long and weighs roughly 100 pounds. But this weapon has racked up more confirmed kills than almost any other precision munition in modern warfare. The AGM-114 Hellfire was originally designed in the 1980s to destroy Soviet tanks. It's primarily fired from Apache attack helicopters and Predator drones, and it's been the weapon of choice for targeted strikes since the early 2000s. Here's what makes it deadly. The Hellfire uses a dual-stage warhead. The first charge punches through armor, and the second detonates inside the target. Tank armor that's supposed to stop artillery shells gets sliced open like it's made of cardboard. The missile travels at about 995 miles per hour and has a range of 5 miles. The laser-guided system is frighteningly accurate. The operator paints the target with a laser designator, and the missile follows that beam straight to impact. The circular error probable is less than 3 feet. Over 7,000 Hellfires were fired during the Iraq War alone. In Afghanistan, the number exceeded 10,000. The missile has taken out everything from tanks and bunkers to individual targets riding in pickup trucks. And here's the thing that makes it particularly brutal. You never see it coming. The laser designation can be done from miles away, and the missile makes almost no sound until the final seconds. The Exocet gained its deadly reputation in 1982 during the Falklands War. On May 4th of that year, an Argentine Super Etendard fighter jet fired 2 Exocets at British warships. One of them struck HMS Sheffield, a Type 42 destroyer that was supposed to be defended by advanced radar and missile systems. The Exocet hit the Sheffield above the waterline and tore through the hull. The missile didn't even detonate properly, but the unburned rocket fuel ignited a fire that raged for hours. 20 crew members died, and the ship eventually sank 6 days later. A modern warship worth over $50 million. Destroyed by a missile that cost less than $200,000. The AM-39 variant weighs about 1,400 pounds and carries a 364-pound warhead. It flies just above the wave tops at nearly 700 miles per hour, staying below radar detection until the final moments. The sea skimming approach means ships have only seconds to react once they detect it. What made the Exocet particularly feared was its fire-and-forget capability. The pilot locks onto the target, fires the missile, and immediately turns away. The missile's own radar takes over and guides it to impact. During the Falklands War, the British were so terrified of the Exocet that they sent special forces teams to try to destroy Argentina's remaining missiles on the ground. The fear of those remaining missiles changed British naval tactics for the rest of the war, proving that even advanced navies were vulnerable to relatively cheap technology. Russian engineering has a reputation for building weapons that are simple, brutal, and terrifyingly effective. The Kornet anti-tank missile fits that description perfectly. Since its introduction in the late 1990s, it's destroyed hundreds of armored vehicles across multiple conflicts. The Kornet uses a laser beam riding guidance system. The operator keeps a laser aimed at the target, and the missile literally rides that beam to impact. The missile can hit targets up to 3 miles away, and it flies at about 1,000 feet per second. What makes the Kornet absolutely lethal is its tandem charge warhead. Modern tanks use reactive armor designed to explode outward when hit. The Kornet beats this by using 2 charges. The first detonates the reactive armor, and the second punches through the hull beneath. It can penetrate over 47 inches of armor, which is more than enough to kill any tank currently in service. During the 2006 Lebanon War, Hezbollah fighters used Kornets to destroy multiple Israeli Merkava tanks, some of the most heavily armored vehicles in the world. Over a dozen Merkavas were knocked out, with several completely destroyed. In Syria, footage shows Kornets taking out tanks, armored personnel carriers, and fortified buildings. The system is also remarkably portable. A two-man crew can carry and operate it, making it perfect for ambushes, set up, fire, and disappear before the enemy can respond. The tube-launched, optically tracked, wire-guided missile has been America's primary anti-tank weapon since 1970. More than 690,000 TOW missiles have been produced, and they've seen combat in virtually every major conflict since Vietnam. The TOW system works through a wire that spools out behind the missile as it flies. The operator tracks the target through a sight, and the guidance system sends corrections through that wire. The missile can reach targets up to 2.5 miles away. What makes the TOW particularly deadly is its warhead options. The TOW-2B variant flies over the target and fires dual warheads downward into the thin top armor of tanks, which is their most vulnerable spot. Tanks are designed to resist frontal attacks, but their tops are relatively unprotected. During Operation Desert Storm, TOW missiles destroyed hundreds of Iraqi tanks and armored vehicles. In one engagement, a Bradley fighting vehicle armed with TOWs took out 3 T-72 tanks in less than a minute. The TOW has been used extensively in Syria by various factions. The missile's reliability and effectiveness have made it a favorite among both conventional forces and irregular fighters, with a kill rate that exceeds 90% in combat conditions. Air-to-air combat has become a game of who sees who first and who shoots first. The Russian R-77 missile is designed to win that game. This beyond visual range missile has a no-escape zone that makes it one of the most feared weapons in the sky. The R-77 uses active radar homing. Once fired, the missile's own radar takes over and tracks the target. The pilot can turn away immediately after launch, a massive tactical advantage. The missile can hit targets up to 50 miles away while traveling at Mach 4, which is over 3,000 miles per hour. What sets the R-77 apart is its lattice control fins, which look like a diamond pattern grid at the tail. These provide exceptional maneuverability at high altitudes where traditional control surfaces become less effective. The missile can pull maneuvers that would rip apart a conventional design. The warhead contains about 50 pounds of high explosives surrounded by expanding rods. When it detonates, these rods shoot outward in a pattern designed to slice through aircraft structures. Even a near miss can cause catastrophic damage. Russian Su-35 and Su-57 fighters carry the R-77, and export versions have been sold to countries including China, India, and several Middle Eastern nations. Knowing that an R-77 can be fired from beyond visual range means you could be locked up and engaged before you even know the enemy is there. The Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff missile represents everything modern warfare has become: stealthy, precise, and absolutely devastating. This cruise missile allows aircraft to strike heavily defended targets without ever entering the threat zone. The JASSM is 14 feet long, weighs about 2,400 pounds, and carries a 1,000-pound penetrator warhead designed to destroy hardened bunkers. But the real trick is its range and stealth characteristics. The extended range version can hit targets over 575 miles away. A bomber can launch from outside enemy territory, turn around, and be halfway home before the missiles even impact. The missile's stealthy design includes radar-absorbent materials and a shape that minimizes radar signature. It flies at high subsonic speeds, hugging terrain to avoid detection. The GPS and inertial navigation system provides accuracy within 3 feet. Here's what makes it truly dangerous. The JASSM can be programmed to attack from specific directions and at specific times. Multiple missiles can be coordinated to hit different targets simultaneously, overwhelming air defenses. In 2018, American destroyers and aircraft launched over 100 cruise missiles at Syrian targets in response to chemical weapons use. Many of these were JASSMs, and they struck their targets with precision despite Syria's air defense network. The cost is steep at roughly $1.4 million per missile, but the ability to destroy high-value targets without risking pilots makes it worth every penny. Russia announced its presence in the Syrian civil war in a way nobody expected. On October 7, 2015, 4 Russian warships in the Caspian Sea launched 26 caliber cruise missiles at targets in Syria over 900 miles away. The missiles flew through Iranian and Iraqi airspace before striking ISIS positions with devastating accuracy. The 3 M54 caliber weighs about 4,000 pounds and carries a 1,000-pound warhead. It flies at high subsonic speeds for most of its flight, then accelerates to nearly Mach 3 in the terminal phase. That final sprint makes interception extremely difficult. The caliber can perform evasive maneuvers, fly at altitudes as low as 15 feet above the water, and strike targets up to 1,500 miles away. What makes the caliber particularly dangerous is its versatility. Russia can launch these from submarines lurking off coastlines, from surface ships operating in international waters, or from ground-based launchers. The enemy often has no idea where the attack is coming from until missiles start hitting targets. Russia has used calibers extensively in Syria, with over 100 launched by 2017. The accuracy has been remarkable, with most missiles hitting within a few meters of their aim points. The strategic implications are massive. Russia can now threaten targets deep in Europe or the Middle East without deploying aircraft or ground forces. Taking out enemy air defenses is one of the most dangerous missions in warfare. The high-speed anti-radiation missile is designed to kill those air defense systems before they can kill you. The AGM-88 harm homes in on radar emissions. When an enemy radar turns on to track aircraft, the harm detects those radio waves and follows them straight to the source. The missile travels at over Mach 2, covering distances up to 30 miles in under a minute. The radar operators have a terrible choice: keep the radar on and get killed, or turn it off and go blind. The warhead contains about 146 pounds of high explosives with a fragmentation sleeve. When it hits a radar installation, the blast and fragments destroy not just the antenna, but the associated electronics, and often kill the crew operating it. During Operation Desert Storm, American aircraft fired over 2,000 harm missiles at Iraqi air defenses. The result was the systematic destruction of Iraq's integrated air defense network. Radar sites that turned on were immediately targeted and destroyed. Within days, coalition aircraft owned the skies. Modern variants can strike targets up to 90 miles away and include GPS guidance that allows them to hit targets even if the radar shuts down. The missile remembers the last known location and strikes anyway. The psychological warfare aspect is huge. Operating a radar system where harm-equipped aircraft are present means accepting that turning on your equipment might get you killed in the next 60 seconds. Many enemy radar operators simply refuse to activate their systems, rendering them useless without a single missile being fired. When America wants to send a message, it sends Tomahawks. This cruise missile has become the signature weapon of American power projection, capable of striking targets over 1,000 miles away with precision that borders on unbelievable. The Tomahawk is launched from surface ships and submarines using vertical launch systems. The missile weighs about 3,500 pounds and carries a 1,000-pound warhead, but the real capability is in the guidance system. The missile uses GPS, terrain mapping, and even image recognition to navigate to targets with accuracy measured in feet. The Tomahawk flies at about 550 miles per hour, staying low to avoid radar detection. It compares the terrain below to stored maps, making constant corrections to its flight path. In the terminal phase, it can use an optical sensor to identify specific buildings and even specific windows. The United States has fired over 2,300 Tomahawks in combat since 1991. During Desert Storm, the opening shots were Tomahawks striking Iraqi command centers. In 2017, 59 Tomahawks hit a Syrian airbase in response to chemical weapons use, destroying aircraft shelters, fuel storage, and ammunition depots. The Block 5 variant adds range and the ability to retarget in flight. A commander can redirect the missile to a different target while it's already flying. Each missile costs about $2 million, but the ability to strike anywhere, anytime, without risking pilots makes it invaluable. What makes the Tomahawk truly terrifying is that you can't stop the launch. Submarines can fire from underwater, hundreds of miles offshore. By the time the missile is detected, it's already on its way. the Kinzhal changes everything we thought we knew about missiles. This air-launched ballistic missile travels at hypersonic speeds, which means it moves so fast that current air defense systems simply cannot stop it. The KH-47M2 Kinzhal, which translates to Dagger, is carried by MiG-31K interceptor aircraft. The missile is about 26 feet long and weighs roughly 10,000 pounds. But the real terror is the speed, Mach 10, which is over 7,600 miles per hour. At that velocity, the missile covers a mile every half second. Hypersonic weapons are defined as anything traveling faster than Mach 5. The Kinzhal doubles that threshold. The kinetic energy alone from something moving that fast is devastating. Even before the warhead detonates, the missile can maneuver during flight, making its trajectory unpredictable and interception nearly impossible. Russia first used the Kinzhal in combat during the Ukraine conflict in 2022. Ukrainian officials reported strikes on ammunition depots and fuel storage facilities. Later attacks targeted underground bunkers that were supposed to be protected from conventional weapons. The Kinzhal punched through meters of reinforced concrete like it wasn't there. The range is estimated at over 1,200 miles when launched from a MiG-31 at high altitude. That means a single aircraft taking off from Russian territory can threaten targets across most of Europe. The combination of speed, range, and maneuverability makes it virtually impossible to defend against. Western analysts have scrambled to understand how to counter the Kinzhal. Traditional air defense missiles are too slow to intercept something moving at Mach 10. Even if you detect the launch, you have only minutes to react before impact. Russia claims to have used Kinzhals to destroy Patriot missile batteries in Ukraine, though these claims are disputed. What's not disputed is that the Kinzhal represents a new class of weapon that current defense systems weren't designed to handle. A weapon that cannot be reliably intercepted fundamentally changes military planning. High-value targets like aircraft carriers, command centers, and air bases are suddenly vulnerable in ways they haven't been since World War II. So there you have it, the 10 deadliest missiles ever fired. Which one shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video interesting, smash that like button and subscribe for more military technology breakdowns. Until next time, stay curious.